Welcome to episode number 16 of the Eavesdrop podcast. Today, one of the guys that I wanted to do a podcast with for the longest time. At one point, we discussed having an actual, the Maven and Hecz podcast, right?
Many times. Over the years, I think we've talked about it probably 5 to 10 times.
And then every single time that we're in an event, we say, let's do a podcast.
And then we end up drinking or something and not doing it.
Yeah. And it's not good.
I'm excited to be here, though. Now we actually get to hang out. I live like a half hour from you, so this is nice. Let's have some fun.
The thing about that, though, is that we said, all right, we live next to each other, but we don't ever hang out.
Whoa, like once a month? It probably should be a lot more. But the fact that I haven't been going out as much is probably a problem, too. So
yeah, well, no, because the wives get along, or the wife and the girlfriend get along.
Why don't they make plans? Like, Kat's always like, oh, what are you and Hector up to? Let's do dinner. I'm like, oh, what do you hit up Jude? Let's do something.
Why don't you hit up Jude, and why don't you guys still go do something?
Yeah. Never do anything.
Can you imagine if Maven doesn't drink anymore, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about that.
I'm a saint.
Can you imagine if you were Maven, the old Maven, and then you and I got it, because we used to do it. Like, we used to run it up. Mm-hmm. We used to run up the tabs. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine both of our girls seeing us like that? I don't think Jude has ever. Well, actually, yes.
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't.
She 100% has.
Kat's only seen me like real bad a couple times, and she wasn't a fan.
No.
No.
I don't know, Jude. I mean, I'm not saying the cat isn't, but Jude's always been like the coolest when it comes. Like, if I come home just like almost blacked out, you know, like she'll be waiting at the door. The Uber comes up, she opened the door, bottle of water.
No. Cat's like that was really it's not attractive look, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm disappointed in you type thing. I'm like, oh.
Man, so there's a ton of stuff that I want to talk to you about.
Let's do it.
And it goes all the way back to your Halo days. Anyway, let's get it started. Maven, who are you today?
Who am I? I am an esports commentator, currently working on the Call of Duty World League. Last year, I won 2018 Broadcaster of the Year, so I guess people think I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, I think you're pretty good at it.
Thank you.
I think you're really good at it.
I appreciate that. But no, there's not a lot of really good commentators in esports. I think I'm one of them, and I love it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, that's basically my sole focus outside of dabbling in streaming and stuff. But for the most part, I am a commentator for esports. So if you're new to esports, I'm basically like your Joe Buck, Al Michaels, like for Call of Duty. It's pretty great.
Joe Buck. And who else?
Al Michaels, like
the sports commentator.
Yeah. So if you watch the NFL or anything, it's like some of the main commentators.
I don't watch that many sports anymore. The only thing that I watch religiously is Call of Duty competitions and Counter-Strike competitions.
I love me some Counter-Strike too.
Right now, IAM is going on, and so is E-League. We didn't make it to either one of those. No. It's not taking a jab. It's just the chips didn't fall where they should.
They're working on things.
Yeah, but they've been working on things for.
I actually haven't watched CSGO in a long time. I got burnt out on it. I used to play it a ton. I used to watch every event, but then there was just like, there was a period I watched it. It felt like there was an event every single weekend, and I just got sick of it. I haven't played in years. I haven't watched it. I'll watch the big ones, but the major, that's about it.
The thing with Counter-Strike, and I was talking to Richard Lewis about it. It's oversaturated. It's every single weekend. Where in the past, look, if I'm Valve or anybody that controls anything CSGO related. I mean, even if teams get together and create their own leagues, I think there has to be something that we can do to where we don't it's too much. And I like Counter-Strike. I've never played it because I know how my personality is an addicting personality, and I don't want to get.
Well, that game's like it's tough. It's like golf too. It's like if you take time off, you just stink again. Like you have to play. If you play CS, you have to play every day. Yeah. Like, at least for me, I had to play every day. If I took a couple days off, I just was awful again. Yeah,
and I would. Days. One of them.
You have to just go hard.
Well, at the beginning of this year, or when did Blackout come out?
October. Oh, well, the beta was what, September or August?
Yeah.
Came out. COD dropped October 12th.
So it wasn't until like mid-December that I started playing like religiously. Like the Blackout is all I play all day, every single day.
I've been on that grind.
Yeah. But the thing is like I knew that I was going to be addicted to it, and I knew that the vlog was going to suffer. I wasn't going to be able to vlog because I'm sitting down, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do anything else outside of that. Even streaming, I don't want to just jump in when I haven't gotten the full, the comfort of being good at it.
Well, you're like me. You have a very addictive personality. Part of the reason I haven't been drinking either. Yeah. But it's like I'm 100% or I'm 0% with like everything. So I get it.
Yeah.
That's why I can't play multiple games at the same time. Like for the most part, like I'll play like something on my Switch from hanging out with Kat or watching TV. But as far as like games I'm grinding, I have to have one. If I start playing something else, the other game's on the backseat until I'm like done with that. Like I just play one
Kat's
game.
his girlfriend.
Oh, Kat's my girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, so right now you're playing a lot of Blackout. You're streaming, which is super awesome. I always recommend to every esports personality, and I'm talking about from content creators. Well, not content creators because they are creating content, but pro players and commentators. Like there's not a lot of content that you should create. And we were talking about how in Counter-Strike you have a lot of talented commentators, the same way that we do in Call of Duty, the same way that they do in League of Legends. The same there's a missed opportunity for every single caster out there to not have a podcast. It makes no sense to me. If a commentator and an analyst for whatever game out there get together and create, there's an audience there because they need to. There's like a need for content, always a need for content.
I guess I found it all right with just for me streaming, just because like I do right now, I commentate for the league. I also do Hot Mic, which is kind of like a podcast type thing for the CWL. I'm on Trading Shots, which is like a show for the CWL. So the reason I like the streaming side is it's like the reason I haven't done like a podcast is I still feel like, well, I guess I wouldn't need to be as professional on that. But the reason I like the streaming side is I can kind of just be myself, swear, sit where the hell I want. Whereas when I'm commentating, do all that stuff, I have to be Maven on camera. Whereas
publicly
I can be
traded company,
myself a little bit more on the streaming side. But I've thought about the podcast before. It's just hard to think about, like with the. I have two different lives. Like when the league's on, my time is just so minimal compared to when we're off season. So it's like I have two different parts of the year basically where it's probably a lot more realistic in my off season. That's for sure.
As a commentator, do you have to watch every single match? Like the pro down. Do you go home tonight and look at who won and who did what?
I look at the results and then watch maybe any big matches, but every match, no. I mean, even like think back, we just had the Pro League qualifier, which was like finding the final teams for the Pro League. 28 teams went in, 12 got out. And Joe and I were commentating at the same time. There were like 3 to 4 other matches going on. Like it's just impossible. If I wanted to go back and watch them before the next day, I literally didn't have time. There's not enough time. So just try to watch the big ones.
What did you think, man? Obviously, Faze didn't make it in. Parasite's team didn't make it in. G2 didn't make it in. There's a lot of talent there. What happens? Like we were just it was Crim 6-9. We were talking about it, and we were like, what do you do? Like what would Nate have done if 100 Thieves didn't get in?
Well, if you're an org, I mean, you have the opportunity to try and buy a spot, like buy it from a team. I guess is your chance. I don't know the exact rules behind it, but you can try and buy in. If you're a player, I mean, getting picked up as a sub, that's all the teams can do right now. All you can do is add a sub, and they can fill in and replace. But until like I think it's a third of the way into the league before Fort Worth, you can actually it's unlimited roster moves. So a team could drop all their players, bring in the entire Faze roster if they wanted to. So there's opportunities still, and like this year too for the amateur side. There's like more money than ever, and they don't have to play against the pros. So like if you want to just be Faze and stick together, you could go play for like $75,000 at Fort Worth and just smoke everybody. It's an option, but I'm sure they'll be on teams. But it's weird, dude. That was the one that truly shocked me, the Faze thing.
Yeah, bro.
Even until the last day, like even when they were down in maps, I'm like, oh, they'll figure it out. They'll be all right.
They weren't. What happens though? Because Zuma, Attach. I mean, name every single one of those players. Like even the new Cellium or Cellium.
See, I actually, as weird as this is for Faze, and we don't have to spend a ton of time talking about kind of what happened with them, but I think in a way, it's almost a good thing. Because those guys probably should have broken up in some way or another like a long time ago, but they always would do just good enough to stay together. Like they would suck at 3 tournaments in a row, 1 stage, 1 playoffs. Suck at 5 tournaments in a row, get 3rd at champs. Like they would have just enough performances to like keep them together. I think finally this has like forced them to break up, which I know it sucks, but they'll get on teams. They're going to be on top teams within the next couple of months. Like they will.
Do you think so?
Oh, 100%.
I don't see any other way, bro. It's like again, you have names like Zuma, names like Attach.
Priesta might be the hottest commodity of them. He'll be on Team Cellium's like an up-and-comer. Like, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
As far as Reap, I mean, he might be on like the tail end of his career. I don't know whether he's going to try the coaching analyst thing again or if he's going to play.
The thing about Replays is that he's so well-versed in every single aspect of Call of Duty that he's like a TP, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean, obviously TP has sort of transcended in this
past couple of months.
In the past couple of months, and hopefully he continues to hopefully there's no ceiling for him and he continues to blow up. But I think Replays is going to be okay. It is these other players that I'm not worried about, but it does get to the point to where you're like, all right, the Attach and Zuma duo that's been such a Faze thing for such a long time.
I think the run for that's probably over, and I think it just needed to be. Like I said, like it's like a carrot was dangling in front of them. Like they had just enough of reason to stick together. I think it'll be a good thing in the long run.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Where do you think you see room for any who needs?
Well, I think 100 Thieves will definitely pick up one of them if I had to guess because they obviously have been struggling. They're a team that's supposed to be really good. They've been on the edge. I think they will make a change. Probably one of the guys from Faze. Like that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But the other teams that do it, dude, I don't know because you have all these teams like those North American amateur teams. Like what do you have? Midnight, Accelerate, UYU. Like you have all these squads they could get on.
Yeah.
I guess for me, if I'm a Thatcher Zuma, I think you have room to pick. Like I think it's less like you worrying about someone coming to you and you just like having your pick of the crop because they're in that top 5.
No, the Faze Black didn't make it, right? Or they did? No, they didn't make it.
They had a chance though. They almost made it over Faze. That would have been nuts. What
happens there, right? It's so difficult to.
Well, see, I just don't know what Faze does because now, I mean, you basically let everybody off your roster, right? I mean, assuming that's what they're going to do. I don't know if there's going to be any official announcement. There's no reason to keep them on and pay them salary right now. So if you're Faze, I think your best bet's try and buy a spot and then filter in what guys you want to down the road. But who's going to be willing to buy? Who's going to be willing to sell their spots?
Yeah,
I don't know. And then if we end up, I mean, I don't know details yet, but if we do end up going the franchising route, I don't know how that'll play in. Like Faze might be in that way down the road.
Yeah, they have to be a brand like that.
You would think so, yeah.
No, thanks. They have to.
But I'm not worried. Basically, I'm not worried about Faze. I'm not worried about any of those players. They're gonna be fine. It's just right now it sucks. It sucks real bad. But
yeah, if with TJ and Dashy, I picked. We picked our young gunners, right? The guys that will extend the life cycle of Optic and Call of Duty. The same way that we took Scumpy when he was 17. Now we have the same sort of scenario with Dashy. Cellium, I think that you don't let him go. I think that you figure out a way to put him somewhere. But that sort of talent, like you keep.
Yeah, it's just, but like you keep for what right now? I guess if you're Faze for what? Like unless you can get a spot in the league.
Yeah.
Unless you build a team just to rock the amateur side of stuff, I just don't know. I don't know what their thoughts are.
If I'm Faze, I keep them. I lend them. I pay whatever.
Oh, so they might put them on loan. Yeah. Keep them on the roster, put them on loan. Yeah, that's an option too.
No, that's an investment that you do long term. Period. All right. So obviously those two didn't make it, and it's disappointing. I'm excited to see who they go after because obviously 100 Thieves has a team of super proven talented players.
Well, see, but that's the thing. Like, yes and no. Well, some have been proven. There's just different types of proven. Because you have proven from a standpoint of like, all right, you have Enable. He's proven across 10 different titles, 10 different years.
Yeah.
But then you have people like Kenny and Pharaoh who really are proven last year, just for 1 year. There's different scales and levels to it for sure. But yeah, I mean, they're all champions. Like, it's not easy to win a tournament. They've all won a tournament. So. Or multiple tournaments.
Yeah, multiple. I mean, Slasher, Octane with LG.
I don't know, but they're going to make a change. I mean, obviously something's wrong.
Who do you think goes?
If I had to guess, Kenny or Pharaoh.
I'd say the same thing. Exact same thing.
I think Kenny was the one under a lot of fire, but I also think I personally see Kenny as having more potential than Pharaoh, so I would probably say Pharaoh. But I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm close to some of the guys I could probably dig.
Yeah, you catch a lot of flack for making comments like, well, not a comment, but having your opinion on certain things. Like me asking you the question that I just did was not setting you up, but it was sort of a leading question to this one, right? Because everybody does, right? And at one point, and Hecz and I have been talking in DMs because I want him to come on because I want to have like just a conversation. He needs to be heard, right? Because he's got everybody vilifies Hecz for being, how he is. But there's a side of his story, and I intend on getting it. But you do catch a lot of flack.
I understand the flack. I just don't think it should be directed at me necessarily, but I get it. So the core of the issue is I just have to wear too many hats.
Yeah.
So like if you look at like, let's look at a sports broadcast. Like if you have someone like their main commentators, like I mentioned, like Joe Bucks, Al Michaels, they're not also your Skip and Stephen A. Like there's so many personalities, so many shows that those people kind of have their niche, right? And that's what they do. But with where we are in esports, I'm a host for Hot Mic, I'm a commentator for the matches, and I'm also, basically like a Stephen A for Trading Shots. So I have to wear all those hats. So I have to have an opinion. I have to also commentate. So I think some players have been frustrated sometimes because I'm seen as like the main commentator for it, but then also rip into people. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's my job. I mean, I don't have a choice.
Not only that, but
I'm not going to go there and be like, oh, I don't have any opinion on that. That'd be real super entertaining. Yeah. It's like, I have to. Now, do I hope that there is a day sometime where I can just be a commentator or I can just be the guy that goes in and argues? Because I think I'm pretty good at both. But but that's just not how it is right now. So don't come at me. That's just my job. I'm not internally pushing like, dude, God, just put me on every single thing. Like I gotta do it all. That's what they asked me to do. So I do it.
I would push to be on every single thing.
I love doing that stuff. I do, but like I do understand complaints. Like I've had dude, I've had moms come at me, like parents, grandparents, just players, because like I'll rip into their player about sucking at a tournament, and they come at me about stuff like, you shouldn't be saying that stuff.
On Twitter or in person?
Twitter.
Okay.
No one's come up to me in person.
Yeah.
I either have parents that love me or parents that hate me. Like, I follow some of them, and like I see their tweets, and that part of it cracks me up. I get it. My dad, man, when I was playing sports as a kid, I mean, he almost drop kicked some of my coaches. He gets so pissed at people. So I get it. It's like they love their kids. They want them to do well. They don't like seeing them roasted. So I understand it. But I've had parents come at my throat, and it cracks me up.
Obviously, you're getting into. I mean, you're semi into content creation, obviously with your streaming. Any thoughts into going the full way, and also in parallel to streaming, bumping up your YouTube channel?
I've thought about it. I mean, that's what's sort of tough because I've seen enough potential with it to know that if it was my full-time thing, that's all I had to put my time and effort into. I know I'm a humorous, charismatic person. I know I could do pretty well with it. But I guess I'd have to, sort of like the transition for like Jack, let's say, was kind of easy because there was, he transferred with Optic, there was salary involved. Like there was a bit of a
cushion.
Yeah, cushion support system. So like, would I consider it at some point? Yeah, but like the problem I have is I'm paid well to commentate. I really, really like to commentate. So right now, at least, I see it as I can commentate. I can be really, really good at that, and also just view the content creation stuff as just extra cash. Basically, me just doing Twitch and stuff is just extra money in my pocket. I don't need to pour my soul into it. I can do what I'm capable of and just get the extra money. But are there times where I wonder how it would go if I just went 100% in? Yeah, I mean, of course. It's not realistic for me with the commentating thing too. Just with the travel and stuff, like with streaming. Like if you're not consistent with it, like you take days off, you take weeks off, you are screwed. Like I had vacation and I had a week off for the Pro League qualifier. I lost like all of my subs. I basically had to start over. My viewership went to third. It's tough.
But that's what I'm saying though. Now if you add the YouTube side of things to that, now you have this cushion because YouTube is video on demand as opposed to live. So I think YouTube is a little bit more forgiving when it comes to content creation.
I've thought about doing that instead of streaming. Like I've actually thought about one or the other more. Like because that way, at least, let's say I'm going to go to 2 weeks in Mexico with Kat, like I just did. At least then I could prep a bunch of videos or like do some YouTube videos there where streaming is not as realistic. So I've thought about doing that instead because that might be a little bit more suited to my lifestyle and what Kat wants to do.
The reason I ask, and look, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of pro players, and I mean that a lot. And content creation may not be for all of them, but I don't think that they understand the value that building your own brand brings to your overall value in the whole ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a solid fan base where you can be like, all right, look, I'm applying for this job, but not only am I going to do this job, but I'm also going to promote it on my already well-established platform that.
It's just for me. It's just it's a financial thing for the most part. I mean, yes, like the leverage side of it. I mean, the way I've always gotten paid more as a commentator or like moved up is outside offers come in and like people don't see this stuff, but basically every time I've had to negotiate internally is because I probably turned down now, if I had to guess, at least interviews or actual offers or I don't know, 5 to 10 times over the course of the past couple of years, and I just always bring it to CWL, MLG. I'm like, hey, I have this offer. I'm considering doing this. What can we do? And that's how you work stuff out. So with the streaming side, like as more and more money comes in, like I like the potential there because I could always just kind of use that, I guess, as leverage on the other side for commentating and be like, listen, like make me happy here, otherwise.
It's an augment. But it's not an unfair request. And the people who pay you won't see it as an unfair request because you're doing the extra work. You're not just going home and kicking back and watching.
It's good. It's good for them too. Like my brand growing is good for the CWL.
Of course,
how is that bad? If some people tune in just because they've been watching my personal stream, win for both sides.
There was an argument on Twitter. I don't remember who it was between, but it was between some pro player and maybe Jack. I don't know, but it was
Probably.
like it was. I don't. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, so this pro player was saying that the commentators are put in a position to grow their.
Oh, this was years ago. This was back in Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. Well, that was just stupid. That whole thing was dumb.
So pretty much, a pro player was complaining that the CWL inadvertently put the casters in a position to be more popular than the players.
Well, I think but part of that, like where Jack and I and Revan and Matt, where we started to blow up with followers and everything, that was back in Black Ops 3, but that was a byproduct of the online league. Like that's what I thought the argument was so stupid though at that time. The reason it was like that, we weren't doing interviews, the players weren't live to get camera shots, it was online. So the only thing we could do if we had an hour to fill because a game dropped or something, it was literally camera on Jack and I. And we would have to fuck about and entertain people. So it would turn into like a comedy show sometimes. Yeah. And that wasn't anyone's fault. That was just a byproduct of the league. Yeah. But I remember this when like he was going off because Jack and I were just laughing. Like, dude, it's not like you guys are there. Like if we had you here, if it was a LAN league and there were issues, like we can throw to players, we can do an interview, we can do different stuff, we can do shows. It just wasn't, they were all across the country. Like I remember that though, but like also at the same time, yes, they should like prop us up. Like we're bringing in viewers, like we're putting in, at least with the comment, like we're putting in more hours, if not the same hours as players when it comes to what we're doing to promote the league. Like most of us, I mean, and I'm not going around bitching constantly about every little thing too, which I don't know. I just
think, you could.
Which I could, yeah. I mean, I could, there are a lot of things that I would love to vent about at times, but there's good ways to do it.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten to the point to where you just like gotten so annoyed by the players? Because I do put a lot of this on the players as well because they just assume that because they're pro players, all they have to do is show up, play video games, and that's
they can be self-entitled little pricks. If that's what you're
no. And I've said this publicly a million times to their face sometimes. But in an esports as a whole is still growing, obviously, right? And if somebody's out there as a pro player and thinking that they should only play a video game and that's what should catapult them to the next level, they're doing it wrong because esports, or this specific esport, Call of Duty, isn't there yet. You have to do that extra little bit to get to those extra miles out of your career. And I've always been super like annoyed when somebody says like, well, I'm a pro player, I shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, in any sport, in any established sport, sure. But you have to do your part, not by doing the extra.
It's not even comparable to like established sports. Yeah. It's just different. Like the way you can know these people, like the personal level, it's just different. It's not the same. It's like football or basketball or like they don't like some of them stream and they do it, but it's just not the same. Like there's so much added potential here for these guys. Like, do they have to do it? No. But I think they're crazy if they
especially
don't.
With salaries nowadays, man. Like they literally don't have to do shit. They're just it's a nice little job.
Yeah.
They show up, they play video games, and they get super paid for the work that they do. Some deserve it, some just tagged along. But I don't know, man. I just
hate that. It's not even just the not streaming and stuff that bothers me. It's like not only are they not streaming, they're just constantly bitching is what gets to me. Like, which is all the negativity. It's constantly going at the developer, going at the publisher, going at the game. I just feel like it's all you see is complaining half the time. That's the part that gets me. That's the part that drives me nuts.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be an ongoing conversation. I'm excited for this. We have a really good team. Right now
you guys are looking good.
Yeah. Last year though, it was a bad year. It was the second coming of the dark ages.
It wasn't a good year for the CWL either. Trust me. Viewership wise, like hype around the game. Like it was an off year for
everyone.
More than just you.
Yeah.
Dude, if I casted one more Arden for a CTF, I was going to just lose my mind.
Yeah.
I literally was losing it.
Yeah. Do you, after a long day of streaming, or not streaming, but casting, do you lay down, because you don't go out anymore, you literally go from your desk at work, through the lobby, get some food, go up to your room and go to sleep?
For the most part, right now. At least at events and stuff. I mean, the Pro League will be a little bit different with like streaming in the gym and whatnot. But yeah, at Vegas, it was weird. I was in Vegas. Usually I'd be going out gambling, getting hammered. I was like, got some food.
So let's talk a little bit about that because to put it into context. Okay, so he quit drinking how long ago?
Like 6 months now.
6 months. Yep. And when you say quit drinking, what do you mean?
Haven't touched a drop of alcohol in 6 months.
A single drop. So you used to be a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
You want to give us a little context?
Yeah. No, I was.
Because I'll tell you what Jack told us.
I never really thought that I was an alcoholic per se. I guess I've always known that I've had a very addictive personality with everything, not just drinking or anything. So like my problem was always just I never like woke up and felt like I had to drink or anything. I just would.
And you weren't hiding it from people.
No. I wasn't like in a bathroom with a bottle of vodka type thing. Just when I would start drinking, I would just keep drinking. Like once I started, I was going. Like I was getting drunk and having fun. I just would never be the guy that went out and had 2 beers. I'd be the guy that went out and ordered a double shot of Jack, a Bud Light, and went at it the rest of the night. And I've just always been able to drink a lot. Like ever since, I think alcoholism was in my family a bit on my dad's side. Not my dad so much, but his parents. And I've always, I guess it's hereditary. So I've always been able to drink quite a bit. Like well,
you're a big boy though.
Yeah,
too.
I'm a big guy too. So I mean, we've had our fair share of nights, but it really came down to a combination of things. Kat didn't love it at times. She really hated when I'd be like excessively drunk. Yeah. But mostly it was just the health part.
Yeah.
I just wasn't feeling good. I was hungover all the time. When you drink a lot, your face always looks super bloated on camera. So like even on, I was watching like a Trading Shots episode where I drank a lot the night before. I just looked like shit. And it just wasn't. If I kept at that pace, I was worried about like long time effects. So and since I told you I'm kind of like 100 or 0, I just figured I just had to stop. Yeah. Because if I just started, I just knew I'd be drinking all the time again. So will I drink in the future at some point? Sure, maybe. But for now, I just need to let the liver rest a little bit.
The thing about me is that I'm not a drinker. But when I hang out with good people and we're drinking, the drinks just taste so good.
I'll tell you, no, they're and it's just fun. That's the part. So that was the part that was the hardest when I first stopped drinking. Everything kind of is. Okay, this is how it seems when you first stop. Everything kind of feels like it's more fun. Like whether you're playing a video game, hanging out with friends, whatever you're doing in like a social atmosphere, it feels so much more fun when you're drinking. It's part of why people drink. Yeah. It took me, dude, I'm not even kidding. It was probably like 3 or 4 months until like stuff was just fun. Mm-hmm. I know that sounds weird, but until stuff was just fun without booze, where I could actually go out with people and not feel the need to like drink, just in like a party type atmosphere. It took a little while to like remember, like, oh, I can have fun without drinking. Because you're just so used to. Do you ever like go out and hang out with people without drinking? Really? No, never. So like it took a while where I was like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah. But, just recently in the last 3 months, 2 months, I made it a point to not go out, and forcefully like tell people, no, I'm not fucking going. Yeah. Okay, because I realized one day that when was it? Fwiz asked me out. And we were supposed to meet
I've had some nights with that guy.
Yeah, especially when you lived in I mean, you know how they go,
me,
right?
Me, Nate, and Fwiz.
Yeah, exactly. So this is okay. So perfect. You mentioned the two, right? When I came into this scene, I was 29 years old. The first time that I met Fwiz was at the end of 2010.
Okay.
Okay. That's when we hung out, and that's when him, Hastra, and I hung out, and we started drinking. I got reintroduced to Patron through Fwiz. And what I realized is that by that time I was already 29 going into 30, which means that I had already done my 20s of partying, right? From the time I was 19 all the way to the time that I was, 26 and I had given up that lifestyle. Because I went hard, right? Back-to-back Cancun trips for spring break, all the clubs in the world, and I'm talking about like 720s in Chicago had Latin music at the bottom, it had hip hop, and then what I'm saying, all of them like super party, right? Like I'm talking about super like drinking. So I did that, and then I meet Fwiz and Hastro, and then I do their 20s with them. In the last 10 years of me doing this. And then
this industry's tough.
Then guess what happens? Guess who turns 21 after 3 years of drinking with Fwiz and Astra?
I guess Matt Scump.
So I had to do their 20s too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I got 3 20s under my belt. Yeah. Okay, I can't do this. So I'm like, I get it. I just can't.
Well, for me, like it's just I know. So I don't. A lot of people probably don't know this, but I grew up in a very religious household. So like I grew up, youth group every Wednesday, church every Sunday, just very Christian household. Like I didn't drink, drugs, cigarette, nothing. I didn't really start to explore stuff till college. Like I didn't have a single drop of alcohol till college, which I know a lot of people do that, but I think a good fair amount of people drink a little bit in high school probably.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to, but some do. And I didn't touch anything. But then when I got to college, like my parents were so strict that I was like, oh, I'm free. Yeah. Just started to, dabble in everything, have fun, drinking all the time. And I remember always telling myself, my parents would get upset when they'd see stuff on Facebook. And I remember thinking the whole time, like, once I'm done with college, I'll dial it back. But then that just never happened. You get into this industry and like, I'm always surrounded by young people. Yeah. Everyone's always going out and drinking. And I'm not good at saying no to stuff when I'm having fun with friends. And finally, it just had to be like a hard no. It's like, dude, I know if I stay in this industry, it's never going to stop. Like I'm always going to be surrounded by young people. I'm always going to be, as I get older, the old guy with the young crew, like hanging out, drinking, like it's fun. And I've never done anything like stupid exactly. It wasn't like destroying my life. I wasn't missing work. I wasn't ruining relationships. But it's just,
Yeah.
You just got to dial it back sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
dude,
put the brakes on.
I just couldn't do it anymore, man. And I'm like, I'll go out. Every so often I'll go out. Most recently we were in Vegas, and anyway, it doesn't matter. I will do it. It's just that I was just like, I can't. I'm 30. I'm about to be 39 years old in 2 weeks.
I turned 34 in 2 weeks.
I'll be 39, and then you know what comes after 39? 40. Fucking 40. Never in my life did I think that I would grow old.
Wait, you got Dashy and TJ. It's 20s coming up.
I don't know about that. I just couldn't do it, and that was just like way too much for me. But all right, let's dial.
Get off the alcohol.
Get off the alcohol and the Call of Duty. Let's go back to your early.
We're starting at the beginning.
Yeah,
you just want to hear how I got involved in all this crap
in esports. Yeah,
I get asked this a lot. Now that we have time, I'm down to have a little story time, because this is actually, people always ask me how to get involved in this stuff, and dude, I always say, like, yeah, there's some talent, but there's also a lot of luck with a lot of stuff. So we can go all the way back to the very beginning. So my first game where I sort of started to get interested in esports was Halo CE, like first Halo. Parents got me an Xbox. I thought it was cool, and I would just kick the shit out of everyone at our high school. We would, like, senior year, we were skipping half the day to go to my buddy's house. This is before Xbox Live, really. So we'd have 4 Xboxes down there, like 8 to 16 of us, and I was God. I was the best player in my high school by a mile. And I thought it was so cool, so I started watching videos of the ogres and stuff. And
where, New Jersey, you say you grew up?
Pennsylvania. So I think it was.
If you would have said Ohio, I would have fucking shit a brick.
Well, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and like Virginia. Like, there were a lot of us that would play together. It's like that Northeast hub is where a lot of this stuff kicked off for Halo. So it was actually, I think it was my freshman year of college. I was going to school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and there was a local at a mall. I show up to the local thinking I'm just going to destroy everyone, and a girl kicks my ass. And at the time, I'm like, what is going on? She had to have been 12. I'm like, what is going on? So I didn't know who they were at the time, but it ended up being Xena, which many of you don't know, but Xena is basically Xena. Well, her name's Bonnie Burton, her brother Johnny and Jeff. They played on a team called MOD. Johnny was the best player. He was an STK, which was like the Ogres. It was STK. They were like the best team at the time back in Halo. They lived in Pennsylvania. I basically went up and talked to them afterwards, found out they lived 10 minutes from me. So from there on out, whenever I was home, I was in their basement, and we were grinding. Then it elevated into me being like, the kind of the best at my college. I literally would go to parties, and people would know I was the Halo guy, and they'd ask to play one-on-one, and I'd just smoke them. Like, not even kidding. I'd be going out to party, and people would be like, oh, you're the Halo guy. That's actually where Maven came from, because it means to be skilled in something, and someone called me the Maven of Halo. I was like, I like that.
So that's not your middle name?
No, my middle name's Forrest.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So anyway,
could have done without that.
Back then, though, with all this going on, I started we went to some Halo tournaments. My first MLG tournament was back in 2004, Seattle. So that's 14, 15 years ago now, my first MLG event. So I met Sundance and Puckett and Sepso, Shibby, like all those guys I was, friends with, well, back then, and Adam. Less friends, and I was kind of just an annoying dickbag back then, because I was just a young high school / college kid going to these things. But met all those guys and knew them, and then I think it was around. I actually once I later in college, I sort of put that stuff to the side. I stopped going to events after Halo 2. Stopped going to stuff. Just finished my degree, and I didn't get involved in anything until Halo 4. So that's like 2012. So like a lot of years go by where I was just off the scene, didn't really follow esports much. And it was Gandhi, Scott Lucier. He was a Halo pro, friend of mine back in the day, because we used to drive to Virginia to play against him and Quake and Defy and all of those guys back then. And I knew Gandhi. I gave Gandhi his first beer. I shouldn't say that, because he was probably 15. So so that was a long time ago. Don't
cut that.
Yeah. So I was friends with Gandhi when I was probably I think I was 20, 21. He was 15, and we played Halo against each other. And
how old is he? 30?
I think he's 5 or 6 years younger than me. So if I'm 33, he's 27, 28 now.
Really? I thought you guys were the same age.
No.
He's not aging well.
I knew him from back in the day, and he hits me up when Halo 4 comes out. He's like, "Yo, do you want to stream together?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
Like, whatever. All right, I'm down. So we started playing Halo 4 together, and people thought we were funny. Ultimately, they asked us to cast an AGL event. And at the time, I remember I was terrified, because Walshy was God, he was an idol of mine. I'd met him before, but he was my hero in esports, and I ended up casting my first thing with Walshy, and I think it was Ghost and Scott, and that was a rough time, Because I was living on Scott's couch. I had no job. They weren't paying us to commentate. I ended up going like $20,000 in debt on a credit card. I mean, I went a good year and a half just not being paid a dime doing this stuff. And that was a hole it took a while to dig out of, but it paid off.
Yeah.
But that's how I got my foot in the door, and then ultimately just sort of transferred over to COD once I didn't, could kind of see Halo wasn't going anywhere. And
why do you think that happened? Why do you think that, like, you were obviously there from the beginning, and then you saw it all. You saw the whole history. Did you ever compete professionally, or were you just?
Yeah, I mean, I competed in 4 or 5 events. Got anywhere from top 8 to top 16. Okay. But that's back when Halo 1 there were 50 to 80 teams.
Some of your teams.
The only people that they wouldn't know any of them. No one would know any of those guys. But I mean, Grasshopper and JMB. JMB was the guy. That's Johnny Burton. He was in SDK. I teamed with him a couple times. Breeze from SDK. Seven, Vash. I don't know if any of these names are so old. No one's going to remember these. But I went to some Halo 1 tournaments with them, some Halo 2 events.
If you were to say the best Halo player ever, to this day, ever.
Ogre 2. I mean, I don't think there's really a debate. I know a lot of people have been talking about Lethal lately with like his performance in Halo 5, but for me it's Tuger. Like, he was, Nasty. The guy was old. The guy was competing just until he was like 80.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy. He ages like he's like
it's Tuger without question.
Yeah. Tom
the Bomb. Yeah, I remember back when I had them both added on AOL Instant Messenger. I remember it was Tom the Bomb and Dan the Man, and some numbers afterwards.
Yeah,
they were my heroes back then. I'll never forget the first tournament I showed up to. Man, like I was just so nervous. Like I just want to meet the ogres. And like one of the first things I don't even remember how. But I got to play a 2v2. It was me and Ogre 2 versus Puckett and Ogre 1. And oh my God, I was so nervous. I was shaking.
Was Puckett good?
He was all right. I mean, he was I guess like me in a way. Like we were both could shoot well. Like, we were decent players, but we were like the practice noobs of the really good players. Like we would destroy average people, but not at that level now. No. But yeah, but why do I think that happened? With regards to Halo? It's funny because I see a lot of people that are like, "Oh man, if they just kept it the same old Halo, people would love it." Hey, you're insane. If they came out with a Halo that had the same movement and stuff as Halo 2 or Halo 1, no one's playing it now.
Yeah.
I just think it's I think part of it was probably Call of Duty. Just how big Call of Duty became. Mm-hmm. Sort of like you're seeing it to a degree now. Like I don't think it's quite the same because it's not going to be an annual release and they're different titles, but you saw Fortnite, the juggernaut, how it's affected COD. Just if you talk about streaming numbers, like there's no argument in that. Like Fortnite's had an impact on every single title.
Of course.
But I think at the time, like when COD blew up, COD was so big, and Halo was going in a direction just title-wise that some people didn't love, and people just started to slowly shift.
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of things. As far as the esports thing go, I don't think it was anything with the esport as much as just I think people just didn't want to play Halo anymore.
Yeah.
I think for me that's the biggest part of it. People didn't love Reach. They didn't love Halo 4.
Yeah, I personally blamed some of the blame. I put the blame on some of the players.
You mean just the constant complaining and bashing and whining and
that, and just the lack of help.
Oh yeah.
The reason I said is because Call of Duty. I don't know who. You know how if you hit a button and view the alternate reality had you not made a certain decision or move. I always want to know what would have happened if we just, if Optic and anybody else didn't put that much focus on content creators and said, like, if I came into the space as a fresh face into esports and said, no, you don't just play, you have to create content too.
It could have helped, but I still think like people ask me like all the time, like why one COD, like especially internally, like why one COD gets watched more than another, why viewership goes up and down, like. Yes, content creation helps, and there are a lot of things you can do, but at the core of it, like if people aren't playing the game, it's tough for an esport to have success.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there are some games where the viewer numbers in the esport far dwarf the player numbers, but they're still very popular games. Like when was the last time you saw an esport that was a juggernaut that wasn't a popular game?
Never.
No, it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like Halo's popularity as a title kind of tapered off and esports sort of went with it. That's how I view it. And I'm sure there's a lot. Dude, you know as well as I do. Typically when something falls apart, there are a million little things that combine to make it happen. It's same with someone blowing up. Like you saw Ninja blow up or TV starting to blow. It's a million little things that usually lead to a bigger picture. But the single biggest thing, like people weren't playing Halo. They just weren't. Like COD blew up and
those but the thing there, I would agree with you a little bit more on that in that regard. If some of the pro players from Halo, left Halo, and then went to play Call of Duty, right? But the competitive scene was still there. It was just a matter of a little bit more watering from internally, because you can't just put it all on the developer to create what you want, right?
Yeah.
I think that everybody has their own destiny in their hands, and if something's not happening for them, they're not happy with, you can do something about it to fulfill that gap that you think you're missing. And if that community back in the day would have, and I mean,
they could have helped it.
Was YouTube even around back then? Like,
not as much.
So,
I mean, streaming and stuff was, but most of your big names didn't really do that stuff. Like, if you think of your best players, like your Walshy, your Ogres, I don't think they did much content creation at all. I don't think the Ogres and stuff really did much. I know Tuger streams a lot now, but I don't think back then there was a lot of it. They've never been the most charismatic or personal guys. A lot of them were just really, really good players, but maybe not the best streaming presence could have been part of it. But I don't know how much it would have changed things. I honestly don't know.
But that you can change that.
If
you look at early Nate Shot videos, oh my goodness, Jesus.
Well, they just didn't have a lot of, but a lot of that though, they have you to thank for. There was someone to kind of direct them. A lot of these guys didn't have anyone to direct them, which.
But that begs the question, right? It's if they would have just guided each other. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like MLG did what they could from an esports side. If you think about some of the stuff they did back in the day, some of the brands that were involved.
Oh, my Lord.
You had T Squared on Dr. Pepper bottles, for God's sake. There was a lot of stuff that MLG did that's still advanced. That's still advanced compared to now, where they were. It's just, I think there was 10 years too early on some stuff. Not in a bad way, it's just they just were.
So early that in this day and age, if you put a player on, was it 500,000 or 500?
How many bottles?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. It was a lot.
It was a lot. Let's just say it was let me think. The Optic Gaming logo and Michael Chavez was on the Red Bull. How many 1.2 million Red Red Bull cans, I think?
And even Red Bull's big, but Dr. Pepper
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it's sometimes I feel like people don't realize the scale of those two things.
Yeah.
Where the reach of Red Bull compared to Coke or something. It's not. No. People don't get that though. Sometimes I'll hear some stuff about sponsors this huge sponsor. I'm like, dude, I mean, you understand having Dr. Pepper and Doritos and stuff back then, how massive that was compared to anything now.
Anything.
It's just wild to think about.
Yeah, and if you I mean, to put into context, when doing research. When we were waiving our options, when was it, 2014-ish? We were all right, Red Bull, brisk. Yeah, and it took 7 months to get the brisk deal done or whatever. But at the time, we're all right, we're just gonna say no to this thing, and then we're gonna go the brisk way. And then I did some research and look at and anybody can look at it, right? It's do annual sales. Revenue for each company, and you see it's just different ballpark.
Completely.
I will forever and always say that the Red Bull, however, is more esports than
100%, without question. Just from a brand name, though.
Oh my God, and they do such a good job at their media that is just something that I've pushed very hard for with the brands that we worked with the Brisks, currently Mountain Dew. It's just. There's
and
so
Mountain
much.
Dew's that's massive. You think about Mountain Dew, and then you'll think it's funny, but a comparison, some people will say, I love G Fuel, I drink it all the time, but if you put G Fuel where it is compared to Mountain Dew, it's just
you can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's just not. It's not really comparable.
Yeah, not. I mean, from everything standpoint.
Everything.
And again, no.
It's not disrespect at all. It's just they're completely different animals.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting business because, like I said, it's still young and it's still so far to go that we haven't really. I mean, we've seen the Pepsis of the world with Brisk and Mountain Dew dipping their toes into esports.
Yeah, I think part of it. I mean, what was. And we're still going to maybe deal with that now. There's you always have your early adopters, right, to come into things, and there are people that took a shot early, and maybe esports didn't go where they thought it would, and it's still just. It just keeps growing. It's still getting there, but some people are going to gamble, get in early, and I don't know how that worked out for some of those companies, but you can see some people starting to come around again now, 10 years later, and start to get involved as they see it continue to grow and grow.
My brother's waiting for Hot Pockets.
Some people get burned early, man. That's just part of it.
My brother wants Hot Pockets to make a return.
Yeah, dude,
to MLG specifically.
I used to, in college, all I ate was ramen noodles, Hot Pockets, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. All I ate for 4 years.
That's crazy.
I can still live off that too.
In your transition between, just being, going from MLG to Activision? Has there been a lot of changes? Obviously, there has to be. Has that affected you in any way?
So I guess we can kind of continue where we left off as far as where I went from there. Yeah. So to get into Halo to COD was like a weird thing. Like if I remember right, there was an event we had. It was one of the AGLs that had Halo and COD at the same time. And Golden Boy asked Gandhi and I to jokingly cast Call of Duty, and we were like, all right, we didn't know anything. You can find that. Look up Gandhi cast. We didn't know anything. We were idiots, but people thought it was funny. The viewership spiked 10 to 15,000. I remember just because we were morons. We were just charismatic morons. And I remember UMG was like, learn the game and you guys can cast. And next thing you know, we're casting a UMG event. Then we cast an MLG event.
Gandhi was really good at that too, though.
No, Gandhi was great. I love casting with him. I love casting with him.
I think you and his duo. I mean, as good as it was for that short period of time, I think it had like an unlimited ceiling that you guys didn't explore.
So we model ourselves after. If you ever watched StarCraft, we loved Tasteless and Artosis. StarCraft and COD, very different things, but they were really they took about whatever they wanted, man. There'd be downtime, they're telling stories. It was basically you showed up to watch the game, but also just listen to them talk to each other. So that's how Scott and I tried to be, and not really like that now, but I loved it. It was just different. It was different. It was fresh for people. I miss commentate with him. We had a lot of fun, man. There was some shit that I sang a country song, live during a grand finals match. I don't remember why, but we just did weird shit, and it was a blast. That got my foot in MLG. My first full-time job, though, with MLG was I joined when they were doing the MLG.TV thing. I was there. I was signing players and working with the content creation side. I did not like that. That was horrible. That was not a fun year of my life.
Talent management is not. No, it's not. It's not all that.
And I was sort of commentating on the side, and then it really clicked that I just wanted to commentate. I love the full-time job and benefits and stuff, but I just wanted to commentate. And
it's a beautiful thing to be talent, right? Because
we're finally talent. There was a long time where now literally all I have to do, yes, on the shows, I'll help with direction of scripts and stuff a little bit, but I really just have to show up, know my shit, and compensate. But there was a long time where we were creative producers on the side or doing extra gigs, working 9 to 5s while also commentating. Finally now, we're just on air talent. But for a long time, it took a long time to transition there. I got in so many battles, man, because the stuff, if you look at what Puckett was doing for a long time, granted, Puckett wanted to do this stuff because he was insane, but he was doing so much work behind the scenes that he just didn't need to. It's you want to have creative producers, and then your production team and your on-air channel. It all this needs to be your separate pies. That's just how it is in most sports and stuff. Focus on being good at one thing instead of trying to wear 17 different hats. So I got an MLG, and then you're curious about the transition from when MLG got bought by Activision. So that was a really weird time for me because we left for Black Ops 3. If you remember, that was the first time the CWL worked. The first year of the Call of Duty World League, and that was ESL. So I actually had to leave MLG for ESL, that was a fun conversation to have with Adam Apicel at the time because I felt bad. I didn't want to leave. It's just I wanted to commentate COD. So I had to leave there. Then we came back the next year. But as far as internal for me, I can say wholeheartedly, but it's been nothing but improvements. As far as my daily life, what I've had to do, we've just got more resources, more money, better people around me. There's always been some interesting internal issues just because you have Activision and you have MLG and they're still separate teams. Some's in Columbus, we had a team in New York, we had a team in LA where Activision is. There have definitely been some just stupid ass issues because of disconnects between these teams that is really frustrating. But I'm just saying for me as on-air talent, it's only gotten better. But there have been some stuff that's just a nightmare just due to the setup and nature of how things are.
Do you see? Obviously, nobody knows, right? Do you think it'd be a benefit or? And I don't even know if you can. It's an employee. You can't even have a straight. Direct...
I can talk about. I don't know what's happening. I'm being 100% honest. I don't know. There's been. I know as much as the average person in the sense of this is actually the weirdest year for me because typically. Just because of relationships with the Activision side, relationships with MLG, I'm pretty in the loop on most things. I don't really know much of what's going on because I think there's still a lot of planning going on.
Of course.
But I see positives and negatives. I think the positives are just the money that'll be invested behind it. Having just there's a lot bigger safety net for these brands and organizations that'll come in with the franchise model for sure. It's less the wild, wild west and more what you'll see in typical sports or with the LCS with OWL. I definitely am a little bit nervous just because I think one thing that's nice about Call of Duty now there's not as much of a financial investment on the esports side. Like, there's a lot of money going in, but for Activision Blizzard, it's not that much money, like compared to what's been invested in like OWL. So with more money and more responsibility comes, I guess, more risk. Just if it doesn't pan out, that obviously worries me. And then whoever's making decisions, like I'm always worrying about what's going to happen. The 4v4 to 5v5 thing terrified me. What if eventually they want to switch to PC or something? Dude, there's so many things that scare the shit out of me. Yeah, no, I have no idea if that'd be a thing, but why not? I mean, sometimes you have people working on the esports side that don't know anything about esports, so who the hell knows? I don't know what's going to happen, man. I get scared, but I'm excited at the same time because if we go the franchise rise, it's hard not to watch like OWL and see like their production budget and see what they do. Incredible. It just looks so good, and I want to be a part of that.
Bro, stepping into that arena in Santa Monica. Is that where it is, Santa Monica?
It's Burbank.
Yeah. Stepping into that and seeing, like, you are literally, like, I've never played a single game of Overwatch. I understand the game. I understand the game modes. And being immersed in that, the production level is just magnificent.
So like that side of it really appeals to me. That really appeals to me. But it's another part that like scares me. It's just you always have growing pains with a big transition like that. So I know there's going to be some headaches along the way. But
what do you think about regionality?
I mean, I like that this year they kind of did away with it, I guess. Well, you mean like the region locks with pro teams, or just where it's pushed, or
no, it's the Dallas Envy.
Oh! I get what you're saying. Having like your state teams, your city teams, like the city-based stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was really cool. At first, when I first heard of it, I was like, "What? Like, does that make sense for esports?" But then I saw stuff with Overwatch and all of the fan meetups and all that stuff, and it looks like it's really kind of kicking off. And especially, I think it makes sense in like the U.S. because you're so used to that as like fans of sports and stuff. It just makes sense. Yeah. All I've seen is like positives from the Overwatch side. It looks really cool. As far as like down the road, if they have their own arenas and you have home and away games and how that'll go and the logistics of it sounds like a nightmare, but it could be very, very cool. I guess that's one thing that scares me too. Like I talked about, like if they wanted to go to PC, or if like we had to do new organization names like happened in Overwatch. Like Overwatch was at least like a brand new thing. So like you didn't have established brands. But for COD, like we've had brands that were established for a decade or more. It'd be a little weird if suddenly Optic Gaming wasn't Optic Gaming. That'd be weird as hell.
Yeah.
But from a business side, that might be something that has to happen. I don't really know everything behind that. That scares me. I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about that stuff because I try not to stress too much about stuff I can't control because I'm not involved in that at all. Yeah. But I think there's positives.
It keeps me up at night, man.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Only because I've been playing Call of Duty since 2005. I am in it's my game. I plan on playing it for the rest of my life. I just have that much, fun and passion for it. And when decisions like these are made, I don't know if they're looking at it through the lens of esports or if they're looking at it through the lens of sports.
That's what worries me. Well, I think it's a mix of both, but my problem with this, a lot of times, the decisions at this high level for something like this, a lot of times it's people that aren't really on the inside of esports is what's tough about it. And that's just the nature of it. Like, it's just the people at the top. Like, they're not as to the ground with these events and what's going on with the leagues, and that's what scares me a bit.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm not worried. I'm not worried about COD, man. Like, that's one thing I'm curious, and this is a different topic, but sort of tied to it. Like, we complain a lot about the yearly cycle with regards to esports.
Yeah.
Like, it can be frustrating trying to get rules and new title every year. I'm wondering if 20 years from now, when you take a look at it from an esports standpoint, if it was like the best thing ever. Because if you think about it, like think about Overwatch. You have this franchise league, all this money into it. What if something better comes out and no one's playing Overwatch in a year? How does that league look? Whereas COD's out every year. It's fresh every year. Will there be up and downs with good titles, okay titles, bad titles, whatever it might be? Will there be up and downs? Yes, but like there is this reinterest every single year. It's $1 billion franchise every single year. There's this injection of energy. It's one of the biggest brands in the goddamn world. Like every year, there's just this push again. So yes, there's some up and downs, but like COD's not going anywhere. Mm-mm. And like that's why like I know it's like a pain in the ass for some esports stuff, but I'm really curious. Like 20 years from now, if we're like, damn, that whole yearly thing kind of works out for esports.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I could fight both sides of that argument, and I've always said that from a YouTube content creation standpoint, I think that adds so much value to the overall esports side of of Call of Duty, but having that refresh every single year, I know from a YouTuber standpoint, back when I was doing top 5 kill cams starting in Modern Warfare 2, I knew that if there's kill cams or if there's theater mode in the next iteration, I have this new, this new content opportunity that 100%. I can create that will then make people want to play and hopefully live for those hero moments where you just hit a shot, the half-court shot that you do. So, I always say that I'm necessarily not with the whole region thing. I see it works for some teams because why wouldn't it? But esports is a global phenomena that has no borders because it lives on the internet. And if I am a traditional sports team and I see viewership like this, so I'm interested in a viewership, this competition that's going like this, why would I try to mold and shape on something that...
Yeah, and I think part of it's just, people are sculpting it from a more sports mindset. Yeah. I guess I just haven't put that much thought into it because regardless, I'll be commentating it.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't affect me. I mean, I guess the reason I like the idea of it going the franchise model, if it does, and it getting bigger, is just I'll probably get paid more. That always works out for me.
Love it.
But I guess I just feel like with all there's good and bad. I don't think it's all negative. I don't think it's all positive. It's just
no same. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
What I don't like is what I like is I like the congregation aspect of it. Going to an esports bar like Nirvana downstairs to watch these events. That's super cool.
See, that's the part that I thought was cool. You see, these parties that come together, people locally to watch their team. I think that's very awesome. And I do think there is an aspect where people got behind these brands maybe a little bit more because of the region thing. People that wouldn't be a fan of a team necessarily didn't have a team tied to a city-based team.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. And maybe that's just the sports guy in me because I love the NFL and stuff. Yeah. But hell, even for me though, it's like you say, it's just a different time. Even now with the NFL, I don't have a team I root for. I just root for my fantasy team.
Yeah, same.
And how long until that, once that's a $1 billion business, is that much bigger in esports and stuff? You're just rooting for players that you want to go off.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Who cares about the brand? Not who cares about the brands, but you know what I mean. You're just rooting for that type of stuff. I mean,
no, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I see the positives. We just never really got the opportunity to say, let's do a fan meetup. I'm going to stay behind this event. Hector's staying back this event. And we're going to meet at the British Lion, and every single TV is going to have Optic. If I tweet out and everybody tweets out, hey, we're going to be here, how many people are going to show up to watch it with me? If you're watching and you're in the comment section down below, tell me if you would show up to this event to watch me or to watch the boys play with. Because given the opportunity, I think it would have been successful whether we had a city attached to it or not. What was it? Somebody said Chicago Optic back in the day, and I was just like, oh. No. It could have been Dallas Optic. I couldn't do it.
It feels weird to me just when I think about COD, just because, again, it's not something new. COD's been around for so long. It just feels foreign to think of it that way. But it's hard to say. Will it be weird as hell for a couple of years? But if it leads to more prosperity down the road for it, more eyes on it down the road, I'm all for it. But I don't know. I think we're all kind of guessing how that's all.
You watch a lot of Overwatch. Houston Outlaws or Dallas Fuel?
No, Houston Outlaws. Because I'm in this room.
Yeah. No, it's because
I'll be honest. I haven't played Overwatch in years. I don't watch.
No, really, you don't even watch it?
Not an Overwatch person.
No. Yeah, I only watch when my team plays, just because. And the thing there too is that there's a lot of rules in there that disallow for content opportunities that normally wouldn't be affected elsewhere, and that's kind of a pain point that we do. But I would like nothing more if the Outlaws were anywhere near here, or if not happening. But if we were based out of Burbank and we have that sort of opportunity to interact a little bit more, to have. Us as Optic currently interact with the Outlaws and interact with our LCS team. I think that the opportunity to really, really beef up these other brands and other esports, like the opportunities there is just that because of that region thing, it sort of separates in a sense, and I don't know where.
Yeah, and it's. You have to feel you kind of assume that's the direction it'll go. It's Activision Blizzard. Blizzard did their league. You think COD would do something similar. That's just if you're just being logical about it. You think that's the direction it would go, but I don't know. I honestly, like, obviously I couldn't really talk about things even if I knew, but I truly don't. And that's, I think that's what scares me a little bit. This is like the first year that I'm sort of like, what the hell is going to happen? Here we go.
You're just going along for the ride.
But I'm excited, man. Like, it's COD.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about Call of Duty. What I am worried about is, and not so much worried because the thing with Overwatch is that Overwatch was a brand new thing. Call of Duty has been around for so long.
It's just it's
you know what I'm saying. Like,
it's weird to think about some of the same things happening because it's been around for like 10 years.
It's been around for 10 years, and it's a proven esport. It's a proven entertainment platform more than anything. I mean, if you do I want to call Fwiz right now, and I want him to tell me the YouTube analytics between Overwatch versus Call of Duty. Not historically, not from its inception, but year one. You know, how did OWL do against even World War II? Or was it when did it start? Was it?
I mean, I only know like Twitch and Overwatch was killing us, but I don't know about YouTube. I'm not sure. I mean, if you're talking to the esports side or like overall for the title?
Just overall for the title.
Oh yeah, well that's just a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Because you have to look at the title and then you look at the true audience that bought and plays the game on a daily basis, casuals and non-casuals, and then from there you look at the esport, you know, part of it, and then from there you go down another branch, and now you're at the city level for team specific.
So it's just like it keeps narrowing down the niche. Of
so again,
I think
tighten
the funnel.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I
don't know it's how I feel about a lot of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like we're sort of going along for the ride. The good thing is Activision and Blizzard have always done a good job, and a lot of people bitch about them, but they've always been very, very transparent with the owners, and
see,
I do appreciate that about them.
And Activision Blizzard, I know like they'll be under fire for stuff sometimes, but like they have a very good track record when it comes to just about everything, whether it's games, financial. Like there's a very good track record there. So I'm not worried about it. Like there'll be some hiccups at times, but it'll be fine. Like it's all going to work out. Maybe not always in the way we like it, but I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too.
I'm curious. We'll talk about this in like 5 years. See where the hell we're at.
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm still gonna be commentating. I'm commentating until I die. I'm dying on camera.
Yeah.
You're dying on camera. People ask me all the time. Like I know I've had job offers and stuff. Like, what do you want to do next? And I just want to commentate forever.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that though, because like I don't know. What do you think? You think it'll be weird?
No.
So like if you look at like sports, right? Like you have commentators that are like 60, whatever, because your demographic skews higher. Obviously, our demographic's a lot younger. I'm just wondering if it hits a point where like it's just weird. Like I'm an old guy commentating. I'm curious.
I mean, in the history of sports, it's always been the older guy.
I want to be that. I want to be that old dude.
Yeah, you want to be Harry Carey.
Dude, keep paying me. I will commentate forever.
Yeah, I just give you a 15 to 20% raise every single year.
Well, people,
you compound
let's just keep doubling.
Just double it every year.
People always ask me like, how long are you gonna do it? Like, don't leave, or I don't want to. When I say on Twitter and stuff that I want to commentate forever, I'm serious, dude. I'll stick with COD because the reason I don't want to leave COD and go to other games, like I still think we have grasped like this little bit of what is the potential for COD esports. I just think the potential is there. I know the second I leave, it's when it's going to pop off the way it can. It's like I'm just going to stick around forever, man. I think the only way I'd leave is if like something came around that I literally could not say no to.
Yeah. What is your before we tune out? What is your favorite Call of Duty of all time? When did you start playing Call of Duty? Or
my first Call of Duty was Call of Duty on PC. I was playing a lot of Battlefield 1942 back in the day, and then I remember Call of Duty came out. My buddy and I loved it. We played a ton of it. Most of my favorite memories are honestly playing the first Call of Duty. I would say probably. Since I was a Halo guy, like growing up, like I sort of like played Halo I played COD on the side kind of. Like I hop in and play COD, but like I still played more Halo. I think the real shift for me didn't come where I was just solely playing COD till Black Ops 2. Like when I started commentating is when I really did the switch. I got the scuff. I started only playing COD, but my favorite one, probably Black Ops 2, I guess. I mean that's where I really like dove in.
I do like Black Ops 2, but if
I played them all. I mean,
Modern Warfare for me will always be king. It'll always reign supreme.
I love Modern Warfare. I love Modern Warfare 2. I played them a lot. I think that's where those are probably around those years, or when I probably was more like 50-50 with Halo.
Yeah.
But I was a Halo kid. I was an Xbox kid at the time. Like I just played a lot more
Very
Halo
cool.
back then.
Anyway, where can we find you if we want to watch your stream?
Twitch.tv/Maven, Twitter.com/Maven, YouTube trying to get the Maven name.
It's easy. Let's know Faze.
I'm working on that. Oh, trust me, I've already hit him up. I got an email about it.
Did he pass the buck? Was he like, talk to Alex
He's like, yo,
Rubens,
email this guy. I was like, all right, I'll do
email
that.
this guy, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please remember to not leave without leaving a like. If you're listening on any other platform, whether it's iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, please remember to rate the podcast. It really, really helps out a lot to get discovered by other people. The more people joining and listening, the better. Anyway, Maven, thank you so much for stopping by. Let's go to dinner.
You sure you don't want to talk for another hour, dude? I can
could
sit here
totally
and chat, but I am quite hungry.
Right, because I could literally start.
What type of food do we want?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to let Jack decide.
That's our next hour. Is Jack still streaming? No, he probably is, dude.
No, he's gonna pay anyway.
We'll drive to his house.
Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.